Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's Wilhelm Scream, and welcome back to the channel for more Destiny 2 news and intel. And in today's video, we have a bunch of topics to discuss. As always, we'll be talking about the update coming tomorrow, as well as some stuff that you probably want to jump on Destiny 2 as soon as possible in order to pick up some interesting items, as well as a little bit of a recap of stuff that went on this weekend, not only in the game, but also in the community sort of as a whole. So we'll touch on all these topics in today's video, but if you enjoyed this video, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe to the YouTube channel and turn on the bell to post notifications so you never miss out on any future Destiny 2 content like this. You can also follow me on Instagram. It'll be linked in the description box down below. And remember, any of those things I just mentioned will also enter you into any future giveaways on this channel. We do one every 1,000 subscribers, so you never want to miss out. And when we reach 100,000 subscribers on the channel, we'll be giving away a new console or a video card if you play on PC. You can also stick around till the end of the video for the secret hashtag. You can leave in the comment section for another entry into the next giveaway for this video. And remember, those secret hashtags, they stack between all videos, so if you haven't done this on a previous piece of content on this channel, you can always go back, check out another video, and of course, do it again. Also, always interested to hear all your thoughts and comments. So if there is anything that you'd like to ask or any comment about any of the topics in today's video, please leave them in the comment section down below for another entry into the next giveaway, of course. If you didn't pick up any of this loot over at Eververse, make sure to do so before tomorrow if there was any that you liked. We had the Leo Techno ornament for the Fighting Lion, certainly a cool one. And I believe this was actually for sale for silver not long ago, so just wanted to make mention of that this came up for Bright Dust. We also had some deals on the main page if you are looking for any of these, sort of the anime shader, as well as skin and ornament for, I believe, what ornament is that for? The Devil's Ruin. Make sure to pick some of these up. Let me just see what that looks like on this armor. Actually looks, interestingly, not at all themed on this armor, which is kind of strange. But in any case, pick those up if you were looking for a deal, although I'm sure silver is not something that people are really interested in hearing about at the moment. We'll talk about that a little bit more later. I also did want to mention that there is always a couple of free things that people maybe forget to pick up through the archive page, and though I have talked about this many times in the past, you might not remember, but the Alliance Requisition Bundle is free, and it's been here for a long time. For some reason, it's not ever on the main page. I always think the stuff that's free should be maybe bumped up to the front, or the main page should just be there until you pick it up. But the Alliance Requisition Bundle is free. So if you haven't picked up any of these, it's a cool ship. It's sort of the trying to remember the name of the game. I know people are going to roast me in the comments, but let me know the name of the game that this is themed of in the comment section down below. It's on the tip of my tongue, but I don't want to tell you. Let me know in the comment section down below. But certainly a cool bunch of stuff regardless, and you know, there's so little that's free in this game anymore. Why not pick up something that is free? Should be there for a while, won't be leaving us anytime soon, but just a brief recap of tests for the week over at Commander Zavala. Remember to pick up your weekly rewards, and this week we had the Mint Retrograde available. There was some conjecture about whether or not these roles actually rotated on the Mint Retrograde. I mean, I think they were kind of the same all week, generally. But some people said that they were rotating daily. I couldn't find that they were rotating daily. Maybe it was bi-daily, but make sure to pick up anything here that you need just before tomorrow's reset. I might pick up, let me see, what do I got that's low here? Pick up a chest piece. Bump up my power a little bit. Also available in the portal until tomorrow. Over in the Crucible, we have Trials of Osiris. So we have the Burden of Guilt as the featured weapon this week. New fusion rifle, I believe. Is that a new fusion rifle? Maybe a new version of the Burden of Guilt. But In any case, if you're looking for that, I've heard the Burden of Guild is actually pretty good with some good rolls at the moment. Make sure to pick that up. Also, through the portal today for Pinnacle Ops, we have the Bond, we have the Gauntlets for Fireteam Ops. For quick play options, we have the Drang as well as the Ahab Char, which is a fan favorite at the moment. Certainly one of the best auto rifles for PvE builds in the game. Though I would say it's still, I don't know. I kind of like my Solstice submachine gun a little bit more. But this is a very, very good one. Unfortunately, the Adagio perk has proved not to be really broken on this weapon, or at least not as broken as it was, but still a great one to pick up. And for solo ops, we had over on the Skywatch, we have the Boom Slang as well as the rocket launcher. So pick up any of those in the next 24 hours if you were looking for a good roll on any of them. Also, leaving us in the next 24 hours over at Banshee 44, if there was any loot you were looking for here. Unfortunately, through the Focus Decoding page, yesterday, actually, we had the crate available. So crate, or the Vice weapons, not available today. Though I would always recommend a Battle Scar if you don't have it. Look for one with Kinetic Tremors. Still a amazing PvE trait. There's also some other good stuff. The Old Sterling is a very decent auto rifle. Over on the main page, the Chroma Rush is an amazing auto rifle for PvP, so I would encourage everybody to pick this up before it's gone. This one with Tap the Trigger and To the Pain is a very good roll. Not as good as the one earlier this week. I believe it was like Moving Target and Killing Wind, but this is right up there, and with the Range Masterwork, which I don't think that one had, it's still very, very good. This one can be enhanced too, so if you're looking for a really good PvP auto rifle in the 720 slot, I know some people are saying 720s aren't good, but it seems to be all that I'm actually using at the moment. I think 720s are actually really, really good. Make sure to pick that up. I haven't talked about this really in previous videos, but remember to, if you haven't, head over to the Seasonal Archive. Now this is not, of course, disappearing in the next 24 hours, but there is some really great ornaments all around that I would suggest everybody just head over and pick up. I mean, some really good armor sets here. I've actually picked up a few of these myself that I didn't have, but just something to mention since I hadn't. Also remember over in the Exotic Archive, if you haven't visited this, or if you're a new player to the game, I'm sure that there are fewer and fewer, but I'm working on a sort of build guide for a couple of these weapons that are available through here. Some of them I think have gone overlooked for a while, but make sure to check out the Exotic Archive if you don't have any of these exotics. Some really good ones. We had the epic version of the Raid release on Saturday. Some people might have noticed. Seems like a lot more people didn't or weren't quite that interested. I tried a bit of it on day one, but wasn't really able to get too far. It is a new version of the Desert Perpetual in that the mechanics for all the encounters leading up to the boss encounter, are quite a bit different. And then it's a brand new boss encounter, which is actually a throwback to, I believe it was the Pyramidion, which was originally seen in like D1. It was supposed to be another Vex encounter. Very cool, actually. And I actually think that overall it was really, really well done. Especially the final boss encounter, at least from what I saw, and from what I've heard, the general consensus of the community that played it. Unfortunately, it doesn't seem like that many people did. So that tells me that I think raids need to become more accessible. I'm going to throw it out there that I think Bungie should just add matchmaking to not all the raids, but certain ones. Maybe the old ones, the easier ones, maybe even ones like Vault of Glass or Crow to Zen that have been around since D1. Add matchmaking to them. Make it mandatory that you have to have in-game chat in-game chat added or at least enabled in order to actually compete in them. So that would be in your settings page. You have to have that enabled, otherwise you can't go in. But Just make it matchmaking. Add it to the portal. People will go crazy. Over on the Strange Gear offers this week, I don't think anybody wants to miss out on this Immortal Adept submachine gun. This is a very good very good PvP submachine gun. One of the old Trials weapons. This one with Killing Wind. We got High Caliber and Threat Detector, as well as Stability Masterwork. I would definitely pick this up. We also had a Warden's Law, which was a Nightfall weapon. This one can be enhanced. I would encourage people to maybe think about getting that. We had the Refusal of the Call available, which also has not been available too often. This one, Beacon Rounds and Autoloading Holster. Encourage people to pick that one up. Sort of a rare glaive. We had a Royal Chase. We had this shotgun. We had the Lotus Eater, which can also be enhanced. If you did not pick up a Lotus Eater during the time when it was the available Nightfall weapon, you were able to get the Adept or Adept enhanced version of this weapon, then this is a good go-to. This one with Stability Masterwork, but also Beacon Rounds. Higher Ground is not one of the best perks, but Beacon Rounds certainly is, and it comes with Implosion Rounds. This is still a really, really amazing weapon in PvE, so I would encourage everybody to pick that up. We also had the Slammer Sword, which can be enhanced, another Nightfall weapon, this one with Relentless Strike and Permeability. I would also say this is a very decent roll on a very good sword, especially an enhanced version of it with the Impact Masterwork. So consider picking that one up as well. We have the Faithkeeper rocket launcher. I can't remember when this was from, but fairly late before the launch of Edge of Fate. We have the Prometheus Lens Catalyst, the Laser Tag Catalyst. Leave a hashtag laser tag down below. We have the Skyburners Catalyst, and then we had the Hawkmoon with a decent PvP roll. We had the Sweet Business, Fighting Lion, and the Warcliffe Coil. Old school glitch weapons. Also, on the main page, if you didn't pick up any of these exotics, I know the Gerfalcon's Herberk, I'm never going to say it correctly, on purpose from now on, because it's a stupid name. And I have to say, when I think about the time and money spent thinking up the names in this game, I get a little sick to my stomach because I know that that's money that could have been spent elsewhere. Not trying to complain, but I really do hate the names of everything in this game. And I use that term hate specifically in this case. I hate the naming of everything in this game. It's just so overdone. Anyway, I'm not going to digress too much further. But let me know if you think they don't really need to go this far. I mean, like, come on. Somebody's getting paid a lot of money to do this. Or at least some money. We could save that money. Let's use it elsewhere. Maybe, just changing a few features to the game that make it a lot more fun to play again. We have exotic class items available to farm for strange coins. Remember, exotic class items will also be available through the Festival of the Lost, which will also have a new 6-player activity. Looking forward to that. Finally, another 6-player activity, though I worry, because a lot of people think, well, there's not, the only 6-player activities are the Crucible and the raids. That's not true. If you go over to the World tab, some of you may remember that there is actually another 6-player activity over in the Eternity, the Dares of Eternity. Now, Dares of Eternity was a pretty cool thing when it came out, because it was the first other 6-player activity that we've had in a while, and of course, the 6-player activity coming in Festival of the Lost seems strange. I don't know why they keep doing so much with Festival of the Lost and maybe not so much with the other events as far as activities are concerned or available loot. I mean, why can't we have exotic class items available through all the events, through all the seasonal events? Why just Festival of the Lost? Don't get it. But I do have a worry that we are going to be getting a Dares of Eternity 2.0. Let's hope that I'm wrong. In any case, any new 6-player activity, I think, will be a good thing. Whether or not it's long-term or short-term in terms of interest, we'll have to wait and see. Now, another thing that I've talked about in a previous video was the glitches in the game, and how I believe that we should really just sort of let these glitches roll at the moment. No real point in fixing them when there's so much other dissatisfaction with the game. Let players just have their fun. There's a lot of things as far as the power grind that I know people are still very upset about, and there's going to be a change coming to the power scaling, which I know people are even more upset about. And I'm not somebody who really wants to complain about any of that, because I really don't have too much complaint about any of that. The thing that I would say is that there is not a sense of exclusivity currently in the game. Now, I know that that might defer people from my argument here, but there needs to be something that makes you the best. Now, what I'm referring to by best is, let's think back to Gjallarhorn, let's think back to Vex Mythoclast in D1. These had a time period where they were absolutely just godly. If you had a Vex in the Crucible for about a month, no one was going to touch you. If you had a Gjallarhorn in PvP, or excuse me, in PvE, you were just a must-have on a raid team for certain encounters. Now, here's the thing. I don't think that these things should come easily. In fact, I think they're the type of thing that maybe, 0.1% of the population who play the game should be able to get. I think the drop rate on them needs to be super, super low, but there needs to be something that you can only do once you hit a certain power threshold. And as far as the power grind goes, you can make that whatever you want, so long as there's that exclusivity. In fact, you could probably make the power grind a lot easier, because right now what we need is a carrot. We only have the stick. So in D1, what I found to be probably one of the more successful periods was, to get to max power, you needed to either do two things. You either needed to do the raid in order to get upgrade materials that were only available through the raid in order to upgrade to the max level, or you needed to play Iron Banner. And Iron Banner only brought two of these things that you needed four of in order to upgrade your gear to max level. And it was only going to be one every month, so if you didn't do the raid, after 2 months, you'd be able to hit max level if you just waited and played Iron Banner. Essentially, by getting the same material, but you'd have only two available on the first Iron Banner, so you'd maybe get gauntlets and boots, and the second time you get a helmet and chest piece. And then eventually, you could piecemeal all this together and hit max power. That's what I'm talking about in terms of a power grind. That's what needs to be in the game. There needs to be something that you either can go the long way around or the short way. The short way requires you doing an activity that's very, very difficult. The long way, a slightly less difficult activity, more accessible to the mainstream players. It doesn't need to be Iron Banner. It could just be, I don't know, maybe completing the triumphs for a season, or getting all the who knows what. I'm just using it as an example, Iron Banner. But there could be something like that that essentially gives casual players a longer route to get to max level, and the more hardcore players a much shorter route to get to max level, versus everybody kind of being thrown into the middle, and it's really just who has the stomach to play any set activity or solo ops more. But also with the glitches, the reason that people, I think, are sort of looking to them at the moment, and why I think we should just let them go, is because this is that thing in terms of, it's the short route that if you are able to do something, if you have access to a weapon, you become able to basically speed up your whole process. And I think that at the moment, just generally, not to me, because I always enjoy playing this game, but to the general audience, it's just a little too daunting. So anytime that there's anything that adds a little bit of a fast pass, it basically encourages people to play. Now, you might say, well, Iron Banner back in D1 wasn't a fast pass. Yes, but it was a set route, meaning if you knew that this is what you had to do, you knew that in 2 months you would get there. Right now, I don't know if people know when they'll get there or if they'll get there, as far as power or tiered loot or any of that stuff. So, these are just topics of discussion, things that I think, maybe should be just either left alone in the game or should be sort of more focused. And I know that people would say exclusivity is not something that they want, but I think it's actually something that people want that they don't know that they want. It shouldn't be inaccessible exclusivity, but it should be something that they tell you, this is where you are, this is where you want to go, and this is how you can get there, and these are the different paths. That's how it should be. Slow path, short path, but overall, you'll get there. And I think it would also encourage people to raid, because eventually you might just, maybe you have a little bit of something, you want to get that extra little bit, might encourage you to actually learn a raid mechanic and just jump in. But I also think maybe adding raids to the portal with some sort of matchmaking, voice chat enabled necessity would also do this. But that's going to be it for the information in today's video. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already. We will be getting the weekly reset, as I said earlier, tomorrow, and we'll be getting a bit more information about some future roadmap stuff, I think, in this next week. But once more, I'm Wilhelm Scream. Thanks so much for watching. Again, if you've watched to this point in the video, leave a hashtag Archie, or a hashtag XUR, or a hashtag Edge of Fate, or a hashtag Ashen Iron, or a hashtag Festival of the Lost in the comments section down below for another entry into the next giveaway for this video. And of course, as always, we will see you next time.